Today we're going to be talking about fair use, copyright claims, and copyright strikes. Hopefully you'll understand all of the caveats, all of the little details you need to know about before making your next creation. That way it is within fair use itself. But first, my name is Steve Smith. This is TQA Weekly. I am basing this on American law. I got the source. You go to tqaweekly.com/SE9EP28. You go to the bottom. There's a link for what is fair use by the Stanford University Libraries. There is a lot of confusion and controversy when it is relating to fair use. And this is because a lot of people are actually confused on what fair use means. So let's get to it. Fair use, for the expressed reason of fair use, including somebody else's work within your own, can only be considered fair use if it is meant for comment and criticism, education, parody, or it is a transformative work. For transformative works, you can always refer to artists like Andy Warhol with the Campbell cans and Marilyn Monroe paintings. And for parody, you can always refer to Weird Al Yankovic and his musical career. And I just want to put a FYI in there. He does ask for permission. So those are examples that you would actually most likely have in mind. For comment and criticism, you can always use the case for H3H3, which they used to do a lot of this. They ended up having to go to court. They did win. So of course their work was fair use, and it was comments and criticism. And of course, a lot of people don't like to be criticized, which is probably why the guy took them to court. This is something that you have to think about, because even if you believe your work is fair use and still falls within those 4 points, you can still be taken to court. So keep that one in mind. In order to know if you are on the right line of fair use, though, you have to be able to answer 2 questions, and these 2 questions have to be met. You have to be using the minimum amount of the original creation in order to make your point. So no more than the amounts that would be detrimental to the original work. So that's the other one. If they no longer have to see the original work, you are detrimental, you are no longer fair use. But if you're using just a specific amount of the original work and going to the original work is still beneficial to the viewer, then you are within fair use, with the only caveat being that it is possible that you might have to go to court in order to state that this is fair use and have a judge side on your side. So that is always a problem. The easiest solution to all this is to do like Weird Al Yankovic, which is request permission and licensing of the original work. Therefore, you don't have a problem to begin with. A lot of those companies will include your work in a whitelist, just so that you know. You won't end up getting copyright claims or copyright struck in those cases. Which brings us to the most common action on YouTube, the copyright claim. As a person who does streaming, a lot of my stuff on my gaming channel gets copyright claim, even though I go out of my way to turn off music. Copyright claims can affect video as well as audio. It is also an nearly automatic system. I say nearly because you can go and do a claim manually. Now, what is automatic about it is the fact that MCNs take the works of their partners, they introduce them into a copyright bot that scans all the videos on YouTube. It can be done instantly when you're uploading or later on. And what ends up happening is once a claim is put against a video, you lose money from that video. That video is diverted to the claimant, and they gain access to the statistics of that video. Those are penalties, and basically a copyright claim is akin to a retroactive licensing for their video, in which you're paying with the AdSense on the actual video itself. You can actually refute or dispute a claim. You're not necessarily going to win, but you can always try. You would probably win if it is something that you had no control over, like a radio in the far background where you couldn't change the channel or turn it off or anything. So there are cases for you to be able to win. A lot of people will be like, okay, whatever, this is fair use, they'll let you win. But you have to keep in mind that unless you contest it, they're not necessarily going to know why or even that your work is claimed, since it is automatically done on behalf of the actual creators of work, not necessarily themselves doing it. Now, the final thing, the copyright strike. It is the scariest thing that you can get, and it is the one with the most penalties on the website. Let's keep a few things in mind. It was imposed onto us from YouTube because way back then, people used to upload pirated movies and TV shows on the platform, and they probably still do, and that caused $1 billion lawsuit. So it is a weapon against piracy. It is not meant to be a weapon against parody, commentary, or criticism, as it is often used when somebody doesn't like what you have to say. In the case of a DMCA copyright strike takedown notice, whatever their title is for it, you from now on, will have a free warning. From that point on, the second, or what we call the first actual official strike, will remove functionality from your account for all of everything for an entire week. So instead of just losing streaming ability, you lose everything at the same time for a week. This is a good thing because it has to happen, but you have to keep in mind that your use of other people's work can result in a takedown on your account, and it will affect your account. You can actually contest the strike. Keep in mind that that will lead to legal proceedings, because usually that is done manually, so they're probably not on your side. The easiest way to avoid a copyright strike of this nature, a takedown notice, is of course to ask permission and gain license for the work, so that way you don't end up getting a strike against your channel. What may happen though is, in getting a license, because of the way copyright works around the world, you may have to restrict who gets to see your work, because copyright law and licensing is different on a per country basis. So it's possible that you have a video that is interesting for a lot of people, but can't be viewed for anyone except for a certain amount in specific regions of the world. This is just the way that copyright laws around the world work, because we have no international collective copyright law that is uniform for everybody yet. It's basically still walled gardens. So I hope you understand everything about fair use copyright claims, which you can always think of them as retroactive licensing, and of course, the striking of your videos, which is the copyright strike. Like if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, share with those that you think can benefit from this, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions for topics, email me at ask@tqaweekly.com. Go to my website, tqaweekly.com, for everything else on this topic and other topics as well. Access to a mailing list, as well as the contact form to email me directly. And of course, you can basically join that website to get other benefits as well. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.